Hi there, this is Bridget from the PlannerSpeechie. Welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be planning for the week of August 22nd through the 28th in my Sadie Stickers vertical planner. I'm going to be using a kit from Jessica Hart's called misshoney, which is modeled after the book and film Matilda. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with the film, it's about a girl who has supernatural powers and she's incredibly smart and she makes wild things happen. So it's a wonderful book and movie. I highly recommend both. This is the mini kit. There is a bigger version of this. I did add my own date dots from Sticker Geek Designs from last week's video, and you can link to that up there. And then this is Miss Honey's cottage. Miss Honey is the teacher. And this is the last page of the kit. I just thought this was so pretty and definitely unique. And then I also got this really lovely periwinkle foiled overlay with a quote from the film. I'm not sure if it's in the book, but it's definitely in the film. It says, "It's wonderful you feel so powerful. Some people feel like they have no power at all." This quote says, "The books gave Matilda a hopeful and comforting message. You are not alone." This is definitely from the film. All right, so I'm just gonna start laying these things down, speed things up, and come back via voiceover. All right, so here we go. This is the full walkthrough here. This was a really lovely glossy paper, but it made me a little nervous because once you put it down, it was kind of hard to shift things around. So I had to be very strategic in the way I laid things down. This sheet was just a touch too long, and I ended up breaking my X-Acto knife because I don't really know how to use an X-Acto knife. So anyway, I laid the quote box down, and I picked this periwinkle because I thought it was pretty and different, and not many shops offer this kind of variety of foil. And I kind of wish I'd gone with something a lot lighter because the words definitely disappeared as soon as I put them down against that dark grass color. So I know what it says, and if I move the pages around, I can really see it. But other than that, I think next time I'm going to go for something a little bit lighter. The date dots went down very nicely. I like that they're nice, big, and bold. It's nice to have something that's easy to read. And I was trying really hard to be strategic about which full boxes go in which places. So I chose both true book themed to go on the sidebar just because they matched. And I wanted to be able to use everything exactly as much as I could. I thought the colors on this were really fun. They're very pastel. I love that there's a this week and a next week, and they match with the foils, so that I was really happy about. That library picture at the bottom looks just like the library that I grew up in. My mother is a librarian, so it was really like this kit means a lot to me. Just the art is very nostalgic. I chose this kit because this was the last week before we had to go back to work with students. So for those of you who are new SLPs or grad students, when you're in school-based SLP, you go back to work the same time that the teachers do, even though you're not pulling students. Now, you don't have to do any curricula planning per se, but you do have to do a lot of professional development. I think a lot more than I really expected going into this. So one of the things that struck me was I had a friend who posted something on Facebook. She's sending her kid to public school for the first time, and she seemed a little overwhelmed, and she made a comment about how, you know, the teachers hadn't sent her the right information soon enough. They said it was going to be within the first 2 weeks of school, and we had just this, she posted this the previous Thursday for when I was filming this, and I was kind of like, we have so much work to do and we have very little time to do it because while we do have summers off, we are not paid for summers off. So If you think that teachers should go back to work earlier so that you can get your welcome letter and whatever you need earlier in the year, that's fine, but you're going to need to go to your PTO meeting or PTA meeting, lobby for that, get this district council on on hold, and then just make sure that we get paid for an extra week of work so that we can be there to set up and send out all that stuff earlier. But I was kind of taken aback, and then somebody else clapped back at her and was like, "Look, we have a serious staff shortage. You're going to get your letters. There are," and it turned out that the reason she was panicking was because she was going to be away during this week, and her husband was taking care of a lot of this stuff, and she wasn't going to go to the open house. I was like, so it's not really about the teachers, it's about the fact that you just didn't plan ahead for this. Anyway, I'm jumping off the soapbox, but I was really excited to use these Sadie stickers. They were foiled oops stars, but I really liked the hollow foil with all of these colors. I thought it would give it a little bounce. And actually something I really like about this planner is that there is a lot of white space up at the top, so I can add extra washi, I can add extra little icons, whatever I want to put up there, and you'll see in later weeks that I end up doing just that. So, but this was kind of my first little try to see if I could add something extra up top, and it really does make a little bit of difference. So I'm just going ahead and marking in for Monday. I did have to do some evaluation work that carried through over the summer. We had started evaluating a student the previous spring, and we didn't, lots of testing didn't get finished, and so they were jumping at the bit to get this student tested before school started, which really was kind of annoying for me, but I did it anyway, and surprise, surprise, several weeks later, and that student's meeting has still not been held. So my work is already done, but I was a little frustrated that they made me do that when I was supposed to be working on professional development and working on building a schedule and all this other stuff. So I did have lunch with the new SLP who's also going to be working with me in the middle school this year, and she was so sweet and so friendly, and I'm so excited to be working alongside a partner. It really does make a difference. I will say for any SLPs listening to this plan with me, get to know your people, get to know other SLPs in your district if you work in a school or if you work in a hospital, or it's so important that we network because nobody else really knows what we do, and it makes a huge difference to have somebody to talk to, bounce ideas off of, learn from. All of those things are important. Monday ended up having a doctor's appointment at 4 p.m. It was a blood test appointment, so it wasn't really a doctor's thing, but I still had to leave work on the double, and it was kind of stressful. So then, let's see, what else did I write there? Oh, I had to finish my mental health professional development, and I had to write the report for the student that I just tested. This is from a Shop Jessica Hearts freebie. It's a little jelly, she calls them. It says, she's holding a little book that says plan, and I wrote last week at professional development there. So on Tuesday, I decided to give myself a break and go to Starbucks in the morning. So I just used a Chic Blossom Prints there sticker there with gold. So I'm using all kinds of mixed metals in this, mixed foils here. I had a positive behavioral training session in the morning, which was, kind of interesting. We're doing this new point system where kids get points for good behavior, and then they can trade them in for stickers and things like that. And believe it or not, before school even started, I had my first eligibility results meeting via Zoom. It was estimated to take about 3 hours. I stayed for the first almost 2 full hours. We were going through testing that had been completed the previous spring. And then I was dismissed because I wasn't needed for after that, but apparently the meeting continued, and that was a little crazy. I just popped in a once more with love with kitty distractions, and I had written cross stitch to relax because I'm still working on this cross stitch for my friend, which at this point I'm not sure I'm going to be able to finish. It is holiday themed for Halloween, so I think I'm in a little bit of hot water there, but she's super nice and loves Halloween, so she probably wouldn't even mind if I gave it to her in December. um, so I'm just going ahead and putting in, I had a couple of interesting things this week. I was on an NYU alumni panel for my grad program discussing what it's like to be an SLP. And this is for students who are applying to the program, not for students who have gotten in and are actually grad students. So that was really interesting. I got some great questions, and it brought me back to when I was first applying and when I went to one of these information sessions, and I thought the questions they asked were very insightful. So good luck to all prospective people. And then I had just marked professional development and a Zoom with a friend, which I don't think I ended up doing because I was so wiped from the Zoom I had just done. So on to the second half of the week. When I work with a new kit and I don't know where all the stickers are, you'll see a lot of flipping back and forth. I'm just pulling in the television functionals because I watch TV every single day, and I can tell you literally what all those things were. They all say The Shield. My husband and I have been watching The Shield. It is probably the darkest and craziest show I've ever seen. And it is definitely not PC, and it is definitely not something I recommend to anyone who has any kind of trauma trigger whatsoever. It's a very intense show. Thursday, we had to make our bulletin boards. We actually had already finished most of them the day before, but I marked that in because bulletin boards are really hard to make, especially if you're not super crafty. And I am crafty, but not in that way. It's kind of a challenge. I actually managed to break one of my fingernails making a bulletin board, cut my fingernail in half. So this pretty manicure that you see in this photo is the last you see of it because I pretty much destroyed what was left of my manicure here. So Thursday was our open house. That's when we welcome all the students back. And it was so fun to see the kids walk through the halls and wave to me and remembered me. I got 2 hugs, and it was really special. So I loved that. On Friday, I marked that I had to finish up at the middle school. That was literally only the second time I'd been at the middle school since school started. I needed to get keys for certain rooms. I needed to get things squared away, but I really wasn't there for very long. I basically was there to drop off the audiometer, which is what we use to do hearing screenings. And I realized I had all these really cute skinny boxes left. These are the most functional, those quarter boxes. I use those the most. So we did get a house update on Friday, and we actually went and visited the site where our house is being built on Friday as well. And that was really cool because I think the cabinets were put in the kitchen. So it started to look like a real house. So just marking in that on Sunday, I used a Once More with Love stressed sticker. This was a Sunday scary Sunday. Truly it was, because it was the last Sunday before the kids came. So that's a little flip through from the previous week's spread. You should check that plan with me out if you haven't seen it already. But yeah, I'm just marking in some dinner things, trying to plan ahead. We always have a nice Sunday breakfast that's relaxing, and I never get tired of writing the same thing over and over in that slot. There's a lot of blank space here, but I think I did pretty well considering I only knew really the first half of the week what I was going to do. I ended up not doing half the things I'm writing here on Saturday, which is why I'm not going to go crazy. I did not go to the library. I did not get a manicure pedicure. I didn't even go to Target until Sunday. I went later. Okay, so this is what my week looks like so far. I am still trying to figure out a couple of things. Obviously, later in the week is a little more nebulous, but I think this came out really, really well. I like the it's very sweet and innocent. So as pretty as this foil was to order, I think I have to think about where it's going to go in context with the kit, because it's really difficult to read unless I flip the pages here. Whereas if it was something a little bit lighter, I think it would have shown up a little better. But I like being able to incorporate more of those little details in there. So for the last full week of August, I think it's going to be a busy one. Anyway, for anyone who is about to start their school year or is getting ready to start their school year, or maybe you have kids who are about to start their school year, best of luck to you, and I hope that you have a wonderful week, last week of summer vacation, whatever this week is for you. Anyway, take care.